Hi, this is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories. I'm here today with Deanna Carr with the Mystical Moonlight. Hey, Deanna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. We haven't talked in a while, and I'm excited because I want to show this dinosaur video that we showed in our Hawaii video and play this for the viewers. And I want you to tell us as much about this video as you can. All right?
Okay.
1 minute. There's no sound to this video, by the way. Can you see it okay?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, those are definitely real dinosaur bones. Now, a lot of people be like, well, why wouldn't they be like props? That looks like they were placed there, but they were definitely not placed there. They are bones that have been decomposing there.
Okay.
One, you can tell by the way that they are set up, and two, you can tell by the size of it. Usually, when we talk about, movie sets and stuff like that, they do this on a smaller base. They take videos on the side and then they'll edit it together. So this is definitely there for a reason. And the reason being that is where the dinosaurs are, being tested on. They're being created there. There are actual living dinosaurs on that island,
Mhm.
and you might not see them. They are mostly underground. They do bring them up for testing, and that is part of the space that you're seeing. Why were those people there? I'm not really sure because it seems like that place is off limits. So it seems like the way they got that image is not necessarily a way they probably normally would have. It looked like Google Earth, but it's definitely a real image with real bones.
It was definitely Google Earth. I'm going to share the link in the description.
Mhm.
Now, I'm going to ask a whole bunch of questions about this because this has fascinated me. Now, you see in that video, there's a guy in the rib cage, a little girl at the end by the Triceratops skull, and then
Mhm.
there's a woman picking up stuff that you can hardly see because it kind of just glosses over her. But anyway, all right. Were these dinosaurs killed recently or a long time ago? So let's say recently within, I don't know, 50 years or so. Like,
I'm seeing a little over 50 years. It's between 150.
oh,
Um, so the number I keep getting is 75.
75.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like too far off, but it's closer.
Okay. How were these two particular dinosaurs killed? Now, we're only seeing the skulls of two. There might have been more, but how were these guys killed?
So one of them was during a battle. So what they would do is they would recreate the dinosaurs and see how they did comparing to each other. So basically, a fight between dinosaurs. Now, the people weren't necessarily there with them; they were watching from a distance, so that way they could see what happened. So one of them died that way. The other one they did inject with a serum to see how long they would last within it in their body.
Yeah. Okay. So they basically they're watching them from afar, like they'll have cameras or whatever set up so that they're not in harm's way.
Yes.
Okay. So they were killed roughly, you said 75 years ago. One
Mhm.
was killed by injection of chemical.
Yes.
So that was a while ago, everybody. And then one was killed in a fight with another, presumably dinosaur. So, all right. Was one a triceratops and the other was a carnivore of some sort?
Yes. Now I'm not great with dinosaur names. It wasn't necessarily a T-Rex, but it was closer to a T-Rex size and it was a carnivore.
Okay.
So I don't have a name, but that's what we're looking at.
Okay. Was there more than two in that little bone pile that we saw?
There's parts of another one, but you're not going to have the rib cages or anything like that. It looks like some of it was taken off.
Yeah, and I would assume if they're bringing in, we're going to call them tourists, that they're taking souvenirs as well. And they're,
Yeah, that the one image with the woman bending over, she's actually taking smaller pieces that she can carry away in her purse.
that's what I assumed. Yeah, when I
Mhm.
saw that. It took me a while to see her. So when you see the guy, she's bending over kind of through the rib cages, bending down.
Yeah.
So so when the one that died during the fight, um, there had to be another one to fight it. Is that the other one that has the bones there as well?
No. So what happens is they would have them fight, and then whichever one was successful, they would bring it back, do some more testing, and they would keep putting it back into fights to see how well it would do.
Okay.
It's all about testing for them. It's not really about anything else. They want to see how long the longevity of its life, how strong it can be, and other ways to modify. Um, I mean, everybody's seen Jurassic Park. They like to experiment to see if they can get bigger and badder.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they do know how to do that now. I mean, they've already, rediscovered dying wolves that were extinct for a while. So they definitely have the technology to do this. They have the understanding, and they have the way to bring DNA back into whatever source it is.
Okay, that leads to my next question. How did they get these dinosaurs? Like we know that there are, we're going to call them straggler dinosaurs around,
Mhm.
okay? So
Mhm.
that there are some that are still alive in other districts, in inner Earth or wherever, right?
Yeah.
Is that how they started getting these dinosaurs, or did they bring them back through genetic manipulation or whatever?
So most of it is genetic
Manipulation. Yeah.
manipulation. I was gonna say mutation, but I guess it's kind of a mixture.
Yeah.
But what they did was they did have some samples come from inner Earth. They do have bones that they have found on the surface of the Earth, and through mixture of both, they were able to draw out the DNA sequence, and then that's when they started doing the graphing. They do have to use living DNA particles to help rejuvenate it. So they do kind of pick and choose where that comes from. Like I said, it's almost just like Jurassic Park. Like I say before, everything can be found in the movies because they have to give us the truth in some way, shape, or form. We just think that it's so crazy of an idea
Right.
that it's not realistic.
Right.
But it's pretty much the same thing where they take another animal that's like the dinosaur
Right.
and they kind of use it to help that DNA strand to start to produce the egg. Then once that happens, then you have that, and then they'll take whatever creature they've made, and then they'll use that DNA sequence to make the next. So pretty much, it's the first one that they kind of have to, Frankenstein together, and then it will go streamingly well. It'll just, collide together after that.
Okay, so once they've created these dinosaurs, let's say they've created two of the similar species, okay?
Mhm.
Are they able to breed?
They're not supposed to.
Right.
Now, specific ones they do want to breed because they know that they are, let's say, on the harmless side, whereas other ones are not on the harmless side, and they don't really want them reproducing.
Okay. Okay, interesting. All right, so I'm just going to burn through some questions, but what do you think is the end game here? What do you think they're bringing these dinosaurs back for?
I think part of it is they want to see if they can play God,
Yeah,
higher being, if they have the understanding on how to bring back an extinct, well, so far extinct creature,
right,
um, then what else are they capable of? And so I think some of it is, they feel like they have all this power, they have all this knowledge, and they just want to see how far they can push it.
right,
In reality, it's always going to backlash because, there's a reason everything happens. Um, and I think part of it too is also going to be a way to make money. I mean, if you're bringing back something that is not necessarily around that much anymore, you are going to get a high dollar figure. So it's a way for the black market to get even darker.
right. So they can bring in these elite tourists to see these creatures
Mhm.
as well, and then set up an island like Jurassic Park, right, where they can
Yeah,
charge.
and they can go hunting. for dinosaurs. They can go take pictures with hundreds dinosaurs. It's pretty much like the Jurassic Park, but it's elite level because not everybody is going to have a ticket to get there because they don't want normal people to know what they're doing, what they're capable of. We just get the little snippets, years after it
Yep,
happens.
yep, yep. Okay. So we had done a video, let's just say a year ago, about dinosaurs. And you said that dinosaurs have higher consciousness. Okay. Is
Yeah.
that still true? Like, did these dinosaurs have a higher consciousness than just, we'll call them brute animals?
Some of them do.
Okay.
For the original dinosaurs, yes, they did have a higher consciousness. Now we're talking about modified dinosaurs now. So most of them do have a higher consciousness, but most of them did get jumbled up during that, phase of coming back.
Okay.
Meaning they're not their normal selves. Their brain functions don't really, let's say, work on the same level,
Mhm.
but most of them do have a higher conscious and they are bringing that part back into themselves without having a coding for that, let's say.
Okay. Okay.
Does that
So,
make sense?
so how are these particular, like this grouping? Okay. Now these guys are dead. Okay. Is this grouping of dinosaurs, are they able to commute or communicate telepathically?
Yes. They still have communication.
Okay. And what were their what are their other abilities? The we're going to call them the ones on this island that have been brought back.
Wait, what's the question?
What other abilities might they have had?
Um, some of them they want to focus on the camouflaging, especially for the ones that are on the carnivore side,
Carnivore.
carnivore side.
Yeah.
They want them to be more hidden when they're going for prey. So they are trying to look to see if they can use them in military tactics also.
Right.
Not necessarily in a good way, but more for, how can we take people out on a higher level?
Right. Okay. Now, so these dinosaurs you're saying their consciousness got a little scrambled because of the
Mhm.
way they were created, but they do have a soul.
Yes.
Okay. I've heard that the dinosaurs had back when they were around, and I think it wasn't as long ago as we were told, okay? I don't
Mhm.
think it
Yeah.
was like millions of years, right? Um, did their was their atmosphere different than ours? Like, do they have to have a different atmospheric uh composition, I guess is a good way to say it.
Their atmosphere was a little bit different, but it doesn't need to be that way for them to survive.
Okay. Okay. All right. So are dinosaurs the same kind of a creature as a dragon, or are they separate? We'll call them
They're
species.
separate.
Separate. Okay.
Yeah, they're still on that like reptilian like spectrum,
Yeah.
but they are not the same species.
All right. So let's say that we were teleported back to the time of the dinosaurs, the natural ones that were here on Earth, not these that
Mhm.
were brought back. Would those dinosaurs just randomly try to eat us, or would they have a telecommunication and try to communicate with us, etc.?
I'm sure they would try to communicate. Now, if we were back to our original selves, we
Yeah.
probably could have a communication with them.
Yeah.
But if we went back right now, we could not communicate with them. They most likely wouldn't eat us, for the fact of they don't, yes, they are big creatures, but they don't actually need to eat every day,
Oh,
every hour to sustain themselves, which some of the videos they kind of show that they depict it as them being these really hungry beasts
yeah.
that need to feast like three times an hour almost. Like it's constant.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, they're more snake-like with their food, where they could have one big meal and they could last 2 months.
Oh,
So they're not going to be going after food all the time. Plus, they're smart with their reservation. They don't want to just continuously exert their energy, and not all the time they want to go hunting. So some of it is on that, you know, do I kind of feel like hunting? I need to eat? Sure. I don't feel like it? I'm good. Now that they are modified, that's probably changed, but that is how they are supposed to be, is where they eat once and they're good for a while,
Yeah. Whenever
especially
you
the meat
see
eaters.
whenever you see a movie with dinosaurs in it, like somebody will walk by and the dinosaurs come swarming at them,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just they always conveniently have to be, right there to eat somebody.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also creates that fear because now it's like, okay, well, if there were dinosaurs, I would be eaten.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be able to go outside. And there's one Jurassic Park that depicts that perfectly. It's, you have to figure out how to coexist, and half of us would probably die off because of it.
Yeah.
And that is more of those new dinosaurs. Now, like I said, when we go back to the phase of the original dinosaur, that would not have been an issue. Now, of course, we weren't there to really experience it,
Right.
but we would be able to survive more.
Okay. Okay. So these people were looting the bones. Like these were tourists that were captured in this shot, and they were like
Yes.
taking whatever they could take with them.
Yes.
So, okay. And these particular dinosaurs were kept underground. So again, we're talking 75 years ago. So that technology has been around for quite a while, is my guess.
Yes.
Okay. In general, this was a question I received a while ago. Are dinosaurs being kept as pets, slaves, or are being tortured?
Yes.
Okay. Are they on this island or elsewhere?
There's a few other islands they are on. Now, it's not a whole bunch, it's just a few.
Yeah.
But they are being all that. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second part of that question is, are they being used to dispose of remains of, I'm going to say humans?
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
It depends on which island you're looking at. So some of them, they're mostly for pets, and then other ones, they are disposing of remains because it's easier. Now, most remains actually go back into our food sources. But for the most part, if they can't get rid of some stuff, they will get it there.
Right, right. So I'm sad and glad that you said that because we're finding out how big that is, how
Hmm.
big that recycling is of the bodies. Like as now, it's coming out
Yeah.
now. So
Yeah.
any other things that I should ask or know about this particular video, these dinosaurs, or what they're doing on this particular island?
I think we've covered most of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if people have questions, put them in the comments and
yeah.
we'll more than willingly answer them.
Yep.
But I think we covered everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all your information. It's really exciting to learn about these
Yeah,
topics. Thank you
of
so
course.
much. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.